Now, it's pace of play.
Come on, Glenn! Come on! Get your head in the damn game!
Putting the boys on the clock.
I guess we're playing for keeps now.
The fuck?
All right, Lee, Vijay Singh and the Reverend Ray Lewis from the Ravens have both been associated, if you will, of using this deer antler spray. The dear Reverend has denied using it. Vijay Singh has admitted using it. In fact, he withdrew from the waste management tournament, and I'm not quite sure what this thing is. I always thought it was an aphrodisiac, for crying out loud, but I don't know. Should anybody be punished? Vijay steps up to the plate, didn't know about the banned substances theoretically, admits to it. Ray Lewis is denying it. What kind of punishment should be doled out, do you think, that would be fair and equitable to both of these people?
Well, I think it's an interesting story because it's a very odd story.
It's a real odd story.
Deer antler spray, it comes out to where, do these guys actually have antlers? How do you take it? Is it injected? Is it? And I guess, as I understand it, you actually just spray it into your mouth. I'm not sure what it does for you. Well, it is
I always thought it was an aphrodisiac.
It's a human growth hormone that actually stimulates muscle rebuild.
Okay.
And that's why Ray Lewis talked about using it, or people talked about Ray Lewis using it to. Because he had a tricep injury to return to the field quicker. Vijay has admitted using it. The problem is that there's no test for it. So you're talking about wanting to punish somebody that there is no test, hasn't failed a test, hasn't done anything. Mark O'Meara, who considers himself a friend of Vijay, came out and said he ought to be punished for a couple of months. Suspended for a couple of months. I guess I just don't see it.
I don't either.
Even though they admitted to it, there's no test for it.
I think a good test would be for it if you use deer antler spray, throw them in a zoo, see if the other animals get attracted to them. I don't know. How else do you test for it?
I don't think that's going to work. All right, back to the long putter. Hey, we got a little more long putter in this anchor ban back in the news. Robert Garrigus was very vocal recently, talking about amateurs making rules for pros, and none of these amateurs that made this rule have ever hit a shot in competition. So he's upset that the rules are being made that way. Do you think the time frame between now and 2016 is going to be a distraction on the PGA Tour, or you think everything's okay?
I think that everything is okay. These people certainly have enough heads up. They certainly have enough warning as far as knowing that the ban is going to go into effect, to start using a conventional putter, if you will, or start practicing with the long putter without using an anchor type stroke. I don't think it's any distraction at all. I could see if they were going to do it. Hey, you've got 3 months to learn how to use this new putter or something like that. They've got loads of time, and it should not be a distraction at all for them.
Well, I think that's your problem, and you have to open up your eyes to the fact that it is a distraction because it's too long. We have a truncated season, so the one distraction is going to be that the season is going to end in September of 2015,
right.
So a new season is going to start, and then in the middle of that season of 16, you've also got players now that are actually being mimicked and mocked at tournaments like Keegan Bradley and Webb Simpson as being cheaters. So now the rule is supposedly going to happen in 2016, but they're being looked at as cheaters by fans.
But those guys are pinheads for crying out loud for doing that.
I agree, but is it fair to those players to be distracted and called cheaters when they're doing exactly what they grew up with? I think it absolutely is a distraction, and I think this may be a case where if this rule after the 90-day period
better sooner than later
goes into effect, they put it in right now.
Yeah. All right. We talked about this at the top of the show a little bit. Ping Golf company signed a deal with Olympic gold medalist swimmer Michael Phelps to build him a custom set of clubs. He wears the Ping garb. They want him to kind of be an ambassador of the brand, if you will. Phelps has said he'd like to become a serious player. I don't know how, if he's on Hank Haney's show, the Haney Project, because Haney has not helped anybody that he's had on the show. Is it a good move for Ping? I think in the short term it is, because, like you mentioned, he gets a hell of a lot of exposure. He's going to start playing in a lot of more celebrity pro-ams and events, but in the long run, when he falls on his face, doesn't become a real good player. I guess in that's, you take that in degrees, but he's made it known he'd like to get to the point where he's good enough to possibly compete in the Olympics. If he falls flat on his face, is this an embarrassment for Ping?
Well, I don't think it's an embarrassment for Ping. I think the question we were going to ask was, is this a good endorsement deal or is it a publicity stunt?
Total publicity stunt.
And
Total.
I agree to a certain extent. I think it's both. I think it's a great endorsement deal. This guy is going to give them publicity and that whole thing. The only weird thing is that, as I mentioned on previous shows, we filmed some of the Hank Haney project out at TPC Summerlin, and he played the whole thing with TaylorMade product. The show has already been filmed, so it starts to play this month, and he's going to be with TaylorMade product, and the Ping product just started.
Good point
this
that
week.
you make, and I just posted a blog for the A Position that I write for, that Haney is a huge TaylorMade guy. Saw him at the PGA show with Mark King, the president of TaylorMade. This might be a little bit of a conflict.
Yeah, I will say this, though. When he participated and hit balls at our place a couple different times, he had trouble getting it airborne and his golf swing, and so Haney may be on to something for the first time with this one.
Could be.
Phil Mickelson double bogeyed number 18 yesterday to miss the 36-hole PGA Tour scoring record by one shot. I don't think he cares about that. That's no big deal. But now he holds a 4-shot lead heading into the weekend here. Look at the leaderboard. Who's going to make a run?
I think you got two guys who are going to make a run. Bill Haas, who's 4 shots behind him. Bill is very capable of stepping up to the plate, going low like he did yesterday. And I think you got to look at the hottest guy on the PGA Tour right now, which I think is Brandt Snedeker. He's only 5 back. You got 2 days to go, so watch out.
Yeah, I agree with that. But Phil's going to win this golf tournament.
I think he is too.
There may be a couple guys make runs at him, but I think it's great to see Angel Cabrera playing well. I mean, he's an awesome personality that's fantastic to see him playing well. Got a couple local guys. Scott Piercy played well yesterday, but nobody's making a run at Phil here.
And he loves
Phil's
this
winning
golf course.
This golf tournament.
There's no doubt about it. All right, we talked about this favorite Super Bowl snack. I had mentioned, potato chips, the Cheetos, the pretzels. There's a myriad of things that you can munch and gorge on during the Super Bowl. But I think my absolute favorite, and I think everybody is down with this, got to be guacamole and tortilla chips. Come on, with some ice cold cerveza. Does it get anybody?
That's a weak effort. Let me give you a
Don't get any better than that.
Let me give you a couple stats here. The Super Bowl Sunday is the number 2 food consumption day in the United States, behind Thanksgiving. There is going to be 1.23 billion chicken wings consumed. Consumed.
You're right.
In this particular day.
Never thought of that.
Which is actually 100 million pounds.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the